Charlotte, thanks for taking some time for us. Can you give us some background on the audits regarding foster care in the Northwest Territories?
Absolutely, Dennis. So the rate of children in care in the NWT has remained consistent over the past decade, with 98% of those cases, of those children, being Indigenous. Now, the Governor General usually reserves full audits for the most extreme circumstances, and they did a full audit back in 2014, which showed that the government of the Northwest Territories was not doing an adequate job at keeping kids safe. And they came back up now in 2018 to do another report. Now, in between that time, CBC had requested access through access of information, some information on the 2015-2016 years, and there was a lot of secrecy, redacted documents. So this is kind of the first time since 2014 that we've been able to get a look at just how bad things are in the territories for the foster care system.
And so what are you seeing in this report?
So there was quite the 41-page document had a lot of damning information. In every department, pretty much the government of the Northwest Territories failed, and that would be the Health and Social Service Department and the Health and Social Service Authority. And it showed that they looked at 27 cases, and within the 27 cases, there were things such as 90% of the kids were not having regular communication once a month communication with our caseworker. That was up from 60% back in 2014, so things are getting worse. It showed things like the government not properly screening foster care families. You know, that includes doing an adequate criminal records background check, doing one-on-one interviews. It showed that a lot of kids were bouncing around from place to place. One child had been, back in 2017, had been around to 20 different foster homes. It showed one case also where a child had ran away from home, and for an entire week, and the government didn't know whose responsibility that was. A lot of information such as that.
And so what is the government's response to the report?
So the government today, they were swift to speak with media. They held a press conference, and essentially they spoke towards a lot of the policies they put in place in the last 2 years since the first full audit was completed back in 2014. But they did admit that a lot of their sort of supports and the urgency was placed on changing the administrative system. That includes putting in new framework, new action plans, a lot of window dressing. Through media questions, we were able to grill them. However, on frontline workers, you know, we have 25% vacancy rate at any given time for social workers in the NWT, and the government didn't really have an answer as to how they're going to address things like that for the frontline workers.
Well, something you'll definitely be paying attention to. Appreciate you taking some time for us today, Charlotte.
Thank you, Dennis.